picking that thing off that thing, but you got that thing working.
Oh.
So we're in the right direction.
All right, and then.
Video's on, video's on. Sorry. No problem. So there you go. Hearing us, here then. We're on.
Bob, have you met Brian?
Once or twice.
Okay, I didn't know if you had or not. Just making sure.
Yeah, we go back.
Tell me when you're ready, so I can turn that thing.
You're filling in all the roles here, aren't you? Last month, you was a director's role.
She is multifaceted.
Telling you.
I'll do whatever I'm told or asked.
It's not gonna make it.
No, he's not.
I don't know. That's one that Jacob. He's not.
No, he's in DC.
Oh, is he?
Or he's in Northern Virginia. He sent an email
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I haven't seen
I
it.
don't neither.
to the, I don't know. Yeah.
So this is like the agenda just spread out and she just said, use this as a template to take notes.
All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order. First off is a roll call. Has everyone signed the sign-in sheet? And before we do the pledge, I want to introduce Brian Derrickson. He's a new citizen representative to the board that was approved by the commission last week before last.
Last time.
Fourth, on the fourth.
All right. And if we could rise and do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there anyone signed up for public comment? Is there anyone signed up for public comment?
No.
All righty. Approval of the minutes. Everyone had a chance to look over the minutes from last month's meeting.
Yep. I make a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
I have a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Treasurer's report, Steve and Bob.
There's not a whole lot to report this, we've got the monies coming in for the new fiscal year and I was out of town here for a little over a week. Didn't actually get in to sign the checks, but they, checks that were here and did get signed, there were 9 checks for a total of $28,599.51. That's it.
Anyone have any additional questions about the treasurer's report? Have a motion to approve,
So moved.
a second,
Second.
moved and seconded that we accept the treasurer's report. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Chairman's report, I have nothing. IFF has nothing. And Jefferson County Fire and Rescue Report, Rolf.
Yeah, we met last month, but however, we did not have a forum, so we could not make any decisions. The only thing we talked about, a couple of things was, when I start looking into the fire levy again, I will reach out to the gentleman I have not yet. And then we also talked about total of 6 names submitted to the county commission. Since we did not have a quorum, small groups decided that we would do an email poll. So I sent out an email to everyone, to all departments involved. Give them like a week. To turn a name in, but now I don't know if it's the turning names in, it's up to. The future of the ESA board is now a normal day, but we did pick out 6 names. Do you want me to send that in to you all, or do you want to write it down? You can write it down.
Well, just email them. Like, it's not gonna be on the agenda for Thursday night. You didn't,
No, I
haven't sent them yet.
no.
Yeah, just email them.
Well, for the record, I mean, the 6 names for fire was going to be John Paul Jones, who currently is, Scott Cooper, Steve Harris. EMS was Craig Simpson, Marshall been married, and Doug Snowden. But that's the only thing that the association really talked about, like, we didn't have a forum. And then the only thing I else had on the agenda tonight was the future of the ESA board. Of course, that was before the last commission meeting, so I don't know, it was kind of a new point now, because to me, the future of the ESA board is going to be dissolved.
I can just say the ESA board will continue to operate until this is transitioned to the county. So we still have an obligation to serve on this board and operate, still have oversight to run the agency until that is dissolved. So the board will continue every month until.
When the anticipate it happening. I've heard January, February, March.
I'm hoping Thursday there will be a little more clarity when the presentation for our consultant comes up and there can at least be a draft of a timeline.
Right.
Or I'd at least ask for that.
Well, that's weird, that's what is, if you're gonna be at a board and all the text. What do you all think? The one thing I was down at this point, 2 months ago, when the association, a couple months ago, brought back to this board, was that the director should report anything that he requests to do to the board, and of course, they got to return that month. Yeah. And then I kind of ironic that again, anybody on the board know that he went to the county state fire commission meeting to see what it takes to be a fire department? Because to me, that's kind of a big deal that I think the board should be involved with. But if you don't think it's necessary, that's fine too.
When is that meeting?
It passed.
They've already went.
They already went. I know Bob went.
Just to be clear here,
Bob-
I did not know they were going to that meeting until the county commission decided to do that. After an executive session, they came out and made a couple motions. One was to send staff to the fire commission. And that's when I decided I was going because I want to see what's going on.
I don't think I was aware that there's even a meeting happening.
My point, that association made 2 months ago. The board doesn't know a lot of things that are going on. So I just find that was to me was disturbing that this group did not know anything about them going to state fire commission to see what it takes to become a fire department, a county fire department. Which, on behalf of the association, I know we're totally against that. I was told it was only because they could apply for a safer grant. That was the only reason that was presented. How true it is, I don't know. Again, I don't think that's quite necessary because the association and one of the plans put out there that any of the certain departments would sponsor and apply for a different grant for this. So, you know, they don't have to go to the FBI number when there's 7 departments that can do it for them. And the other thing is too, that I'm sure against, I don't trust anybody, I know what's gonna happen. We're gonna develop a county fire company, and then we'll be some centralized running out of that particular area, whatever it may be. The writing is on the wall. That's why I'm just against it. But, you know, y'all don't really care what Bobby requested to do, so fall back in your role for it. And again, like I said, with the past county commission meeting now, that, you know, this will become a department under the county commission, it would no longer be, this board would no longer be needed. For that. I think there would still have to be a board for the county fire. And I think to make it, I don't know for a fact, I think to make it that's pretty close to what it is now. I don't know for a fact, but when that time comes, it will be triggered. There would no longer be the ESA board,
That was my understanding.
which is sad.
Well, there's 3 people on the county commission who don't want this board. Don't want what is presently working. So, yeah,
But you can go
It's-
beyond that.
it's frustrating.
You can go beyond that because we haven't been included in any of this decision-making or information
That is
exchanging. Even
absolutely
after we
true.
sent a letter asking for information for it, we never got it.
That's-
So that whole 5 that sits in there has failed this committee as far as I'm concerned. We get no information unless we get it on the backside. They've had no input from us other than we were against what was going on. And that didn't matter to them either. So as far as I'm concerned, this board here is a board anyway. We're just a scapegoat that's gonna happen fall.
I mean, well, I sit at the pleasure of the county commission.
I do too.
I mean, we all do. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think what you said is true. It's 5 people whose decision, and the folks of Jefferson County have to make sure that that's the decision they want, because Chief Frank, this board is on the way.
It is the
So-
beginning of the end.
Which I understand to a point. I might not like the entire picture that I see coming. But, you know, Jefferson County is no longer the Jefferson County of the 70s. It's unfortunately gonna end up being like all the counties in Northern Virginia. And that's a sad day.
Well, even some zones, counties don't act like this, they still have a combination system running. And it doesn't, just because of that, that doesn't mean that Jefferson County has to follow suit. I know what you're saying, Tony, but I would disagree, there's still some merit to hold. But I don't know, I just, that, when I put on there, the JCESA board, and of course, then I heard about the county commission meetings, so it is kind of a neat point. Now, because we all know they're in probably, I don't know, 6 months, so give or take. Quite often, just for a reason, time. And
You have anything else, Ross?
yeah, that's all.
All right. Tractors report, Bob.
Office will be closed September 5th for Labor Day. Breast cancer awareness t-shirts are available. See Debbie. As Vanna White points them out to us up there.
When is Debbie coming back?
Monday.
You can see me too.
Okay.
See our multitasker. Debbie is away this week. Her mother is probably gonna be her last visit.
Yeah.
So she's out west. So if y'all could keep her in your thoughts and prayers, certainly appreciate it. Where was I at? Oh, the audit. You know, we have to conduct an audit every year. The RFPs will go out around the end of this month, and then those will come back, and between this board and the accountant, you guys figure out which firm to select, and then they do their thing. So just letting you know that stuff's coming up.
We've used the same firm, right, for the last few, does it have?
The last few we have, yeah, there was one other, it's gone between a few different firms over the years, but recently, the last few years, we've ended up with the same firm, and you know, certainly that does make it go a little easier because they're not starting from scratch on, you know, all the basic foundational information. But yeah, so that'll be coming up. The annual report, we should have that done already for you at the September meeting. The next item is, well, let me do this out of order, if that's okay with you all. If I can do the item number 6. I'd like the board's approval to discontinue billing the volunteer departments for ALS medications. That practice was started 5, 6, 10, I don't know, some years ago. It might have been in 14 when the ESA's budget was cut by 20%. It might have been along in there. It's been a while, but basically what happens is the ESA purchases all the ALS medications and manages the drug bags that are on all the ambulances and used throughout the county. And then every quarter, we take those invoices and a percentage of calls based on the criteria that I think it was the EMS Chiefs Committee at that point developed, and bill out and recoup the money for ALS medications from the volunteers. That doesn't seem appropriate to me going forward, because we're looking at, you know, why should they be buying medications that, you know, that aren't, the volunteers aren't going to be, you know, using and billing for. Looking over the years, I asked the accountant to look up what we spent last year. I don't remember the number of my head. It was somewhere between 15 and 25,000. So I just think we need to stop that practice, and I would ask the board for a motion to discontinue requesting reimbursement for those from the volunteers, unless the association objects. Do you object?
Sir?
Do you object? Any objections?
Do we have a motion to discontinue billing of volunteer companies for ALS meds?
I'll make that motion.
Moved and seconded that we discontinue billing the volunteer companies for ALS medications. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, and so the last invoice that went out for that went out in July, and that would have been for the last quarter of fiscal year 2022. So there will be no ALS med billing for consumption in FY 23. So then the last thing, which is the next to last thing on my list, is a request to conduct a pay scale study. There's a letter from the local that sort of makes their request, and I fully agree with them. And I think this board observed it last month. We talked about recruitment efforts and pay scale and inflation and whatnot, that we need to look at our pay scale. Or we're having a difficult time recruiting right now. You know, I think I told you the example of there's a fire department in Washington State that's paying people $200 just to come to their open house event. So, you know, I'll pay you $200 if you come to listen to what job I have to offer. So it's not just us, it's nationwide, but we're falling behind. We did a pay study in 2016, a career ladder pay scale. 2016, I think it was implemented mid-17 at the start of FY 18. And our goal at that point was we knew we couldn't close the gap between Jefferson and Loudon or Jefferson and Frederick. I mean, there's just a lot more money across that line to work with, but we wanted to reduce the gap some. And we managed to do that. We're pretty excited about that. And then almost immediately after, Frederick and Loudon both did their own pay scale studies and soared way out. I mean, way out beyond what we're doing. I think all the points that the local makes here are all reasonable. They've got some great ideas on some ways that we might restructure the pay scale to be equitable to everyone and make all positions attractive. My question would be, and originally this wasn't a question, but I'm going to make it a question because things have changed. I hear from commission staff that they believe a pay study is in order. So I don't know if I don't know what the timeline is of when that would happen, before or after a transition or whatnot, or if it should be done at this level. And then do we want to, typically the thing is you go hire a consultant because for whatever reason, and not just this particular commission, but it seems like government bodies like consultants, don't listen to them. Or is it something that,
I'll be honest, with what things I've heard that are going on and everything else, this is not something we need to worry about. We'd like to, but it's one of those things that I think Chief's right. Any decisions we make, especially related to pay and employees, when you're no longer under the guidance of a board and you're under the guidance of the county, I'm gonna let them make those decisions. Because there's no point in us voting that we believe that this is a good thing and that our employees need a pay increase based upon experience and other things. And then 6 months down the road, the commission going, that doesn't fall within the county guidelines of how we pay our employees. So is there going to be problems with that if we make decisions, it falls underneath the county and then all bets are off and you've got to start it all over again and stuff like that. So
You can always check the health net, they're pretty good. That's pretty good.
who?
Health net.
If you were to conduct a study, how quickly could it be done and when could it be implemented? It wouldn't even be implemented until next fiscal year, right?
Right, we don't have the budget in the current fiscal year to make,
The adjustments.
I mean, there may be some small things we could adjust, but we certainly wouldn't be able to raise the pay scale in our current budget. So it would be part of our FY24 budget request, which we usually start those budget requests in September and we have it sort of final, we're ready to submit by mid-December. But I guess it depends on the timeline of when the transition occurs, but I hate to leave the staff in limbo on a
Well,
TBA.
that's where I'm coming from, is we gotta talk about what's happening today with employees and what's going on right now. This transition hasn't happened yet. So we gotta think about the employees and retention and competitiveness now. Okay, so who did we use in the past for the study? Do you know?
The last one that we used, Cassie Fields at ECSI, which is now part of the IAFC, CFA, the fire chiefs. The Fire Chiefs Association, right? They have a different, it's not the name, but I think it is. I think she's, her group was bought out by them.
Do you know how much the study costs?
I believe it was 30,000 last time.
My take on this, I absolutely 100% believe that our people deserve a lot more than what they get. I know that we're surrounded by jurisdictions that are going to be paying people a whole lot more. And I don't know, what we can eventually how we can eventually even come close to what these other places are paying. But I do think that we need to make the attempt to take care of the people that we have here right now. I think if we, as a board, because we are still sitting here as a board, and this takeover has not happened yet. What happens if it doesn't happen, into the middle of next year or even later, and it doesn't happen until in the beginning of the next year? Our people have sat here and paid the price. And I, for one, am not willing to allow that to happen to our people. So I flat out say that I believe that we should make a motion, and I'm willing to make the motion that we do the study.
I personally have a hard time saying that we're gonna pay $30,000 to somebody to do a study about pay, when we can pick up the daggum phone and call the different jurisdictions, and a lot of people have people that are in those jurisdictions, i.e. I work in Loudon. So you could contact those people and say, okay, what's a paramedic make? What's a paramedic with whatever, any specialties make? What's an EMT make?
Mr. Chair, that is why I brought to you, like, I'm not sure what direction to go with this, because I feel like we could do this internally if someone from the board or someone's from the board wanted to work with the local and us, and I think we could come up with something great. But then the question is, it sounds like this board would, it sounds like, look at something that was done in-house and rely on it. But I know that and again, this is not against the county commission, because I've seen other commissions and other boards and other bodies not be real interested in internal findings, but want that outside. So that's why I just put everything out there as a possibility.
I agree that I don't necessarily think that we should be paying the money out for some third party to come and tell us, what we should be paying our people. I think it can be done in-house. And I support it being done in-house wholeheartedly. I agree that, it doesn't take a whole lot to be able to call these other jurisdictions that surround our state here and our panhandle and find out what they're paying. So I don't necessarily think that we need to be paying $30,000 to somebody to tell us what we can find out on our own. But I do support us having a study done, especially if it's done in-house, and to make sure our people get taken care of.
I just asked that if we do a study, and I'd rather do it in-house than give it out, obviously, $30,000, a lot of money. But not only ask them what they're paying them, but what it requires. Do they have a work performance test? What's their safety and health standards? Their training requirements, their job requirements, what they do every day. Because what Loudoun County firefighters are doing isn't what necessarily we're doing. So what their job develops and entices.
I think it'd be important to come up with a list.
A lot more than just pick salary. I know in Fairfax, for example, they get riding paid extra. If you're riding this ALS leave for the day, you get an extra $3 an hour. So, I know it wouldn't show up in just the average. You call down there and ask them what they're paying per minute.
If we made, did you have anything to add on behalf of the local? Because this was your request originally, well, not yours, but the local's request.
My opinion, they wouldn't support spending more taxpayer money on their study.
I'm sorry, what?
They wouldn't support spending more taxpayer money on this study. I think it's probably done in-house.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is local good with that?
In my opinion, they would be. That's
Okay.
back to
All right, no, I don't think we really need any action on that. I mean, we can do that work in-house. But if there's anyone from the board, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so just, you're gonna do the study anyway, which I think needs to be done. We can withdraw, Steve can withdraw his motion.
Oh, did you make a motion?
No, he said he would. He actually
I
did
said I
that.
would make a motion that we do it here in-house. So that's what it's going to be. I make a motion, we do the study in-house and make a determination from that. I think it's important to support these people in what manner we can for as long as we can as a board.
I know recruitment. You're having a hard time recruiting anywhere in EMS or fire right now. If you look at other jurisdictions out there, what they're doing, half of them are training from day one, they're coming in with nothing and they're having a hard time getting. So find and train. I know Loudon's doing an accelerated class now, and they're still have that open because they haven't found work, they haven't filled the spots in there, so Loudon pays a whole lot of money.
Could you imagine
A whole
what
lot of chance
happens
to dancing.
if our people here did start leaving, you know, what would happen to us then? Yeah, I don't want to see that.
agree. That's why expanding, like they're getting ready to expand, is pretty tough.
Do we,
So we do have a motion on the floor now
For an internal.
to do an internal.
Yeah.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? It's been moved and seconded that we do an internal salary study, working with the staff here and the union. Yeah, and board members as well, yeah. Is there, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passed unanimous. Any other board members that would like to serve on that? I know John Paul said he would,
I will.
and I can help out as well.
I would absolutely like to step up for that as well.
4 right there.
I couldn't remember, I knew I had to put something before the Harris, and I was trying, and I had to be S, and she just leaned over and said, hold. I made the mistake, I think, last meeting of classifying them as young Harris and old Harris.
I got you. Now that makes.
Needless to say, I wasn't a young one, so.
What do you want me to do with it? I have his name, and I don't know where he lives.
Okay, Bob, anything else?
Only they added some letters to that Cosmo thing. No, that's not you. I think they did.
Bob,
No, sir. I'm sorry.
nothing else? Okay,
No, sir.
all right. Unfinished business. It says none, but did Bakerton take possession of the vehicle?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
And is it clean yet? Josh is gonna embarrass me with his detailing skills and make me jealous that it's gone.
all righty.
And you might have noticed that the other one is out there for sealed bid. You'll have bids, assuming there are any, by the next meeting.
Okay.
Our timing was a little off. We should have had that one closed for this meeting so that those interested in the demolition derby at the fair could have gotten in.
Got a friend looking for one right now.
They can use it next year.
Any
Donation.
new business? All right, hearing none, we'll
We need a motion.
motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
Second. I'll make it. I thought you made the motion. I thought, yeah, I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Have a second.
Was that a second from Tony?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank everyone for coming. Huh? Do I have any with me? Yeah.
All right, I've got the money. If you can get him a ticket before you leave.
Huh. I don't know if I can do